The last time I drove a Dodge that had the RT label on it, it had a V8 engine, 440 cubic inches, and a 4-barrel carburetor. This is a 68 Dodge Charger. Things have changed. This is the 2024 Dodge Hornet RT. 4-cylinder, turbocharged. It's a PHEV. Oh, and by the way, it's all Italian. Get in. This is Family Wheels.
The Dodge Hornet is distinctively good-looking. That's an achievement in the most crowded segment of the automotive world, compact SUVs, where the sheet metal canvas is smaller and designers have less to work with. But that's no problem because this Dodge comes from Alfa Romeo, which has nearly a century of making some of the world's most beautiful automobiles. Except for the front end, the Hornet is an Alfa Romeo Tonale, and that's a good thing. The Alfa differentiates itself with the traditional triangular centerpiece in the grille, while the Dodge goes horizontal with 2 narrow slots above a larger main intake and side inlets, plus a couple of vents in the hood. The design language fits the Dodge family album. I'm thinking about a poem, a very famous one, A Child's Christmas in Wales by Dylan Thomas. In it, he talks about the presents he receives at Christmas. One of them is a book which told me everything about the Wasp except why. So here, in the Dodge Hornet, I'm asking why. And the simple answer is the compact SUV market. It's the biggest slice of the pie other than pickup trucks in the North American automotive world. It's a relatively easy vehicle to get into the market because it's based on an Alfa Romeo. A different question is, why a PHEV? The PHEV setup gives you only 20 more horsepower than the alternative, which is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine with 268 horsepower. The big advantage though is in torque, and torque is what you feel when you come off the line, and it has far more torque than the non-PHEV model. However, for all the extra money that you have to pay for a PHEV, I don't see a big gain in horsepower, and certainly the driver of this vehicle would never ever make up the difference in price by doing it in terms of fuel saving. I would call that acceleration smooth and peppy, the automatic transmission doing its job there. Not exactly neck snapping though. The all-electric range of the Hornet PHEV is pretty typical. 53 kilometers, 33 miles. There are many PHEVs in that category. Well, there's that Alfa Romeo DNA coming in. The handling is a great deal of fun on this vehicle. We are helped by the extra cost 20-inch Michelin Pilot Sport all-season tires. Well, let's check out the brakes. Brakes are very well controlled. Not the hardest pedal, sort of a medium feel to it, but very well controlled stop. The Hornet has one of the more compact wheelbases among compact SUVs. Let's see what that means as we drive down our neighborhood bumpy road. And you know what, actually, it's a pleasant surprise. It's doing fairly well. One oddity about this car is how it implements auto hold and auto parking brake application. Usually with a parking brake, it's not a choice. It just comes on when you shut the car off on a lot of makes. In this case, it is a choice, and it has to be done through the menus. Also, you have to select brake hold through the menus. Now, in every other car I've tested that has brake hold, it's usually a button around here. And I kind of discovered by accident that you can get brake hold by finding it in the menus.
The Hornet has thrown a fail code on our Family Wheels child seat test. Behind me, the kind that takes up the most room, rear facing. Up front, well, I'm 5 feet 11 inches tall, 180 centimeters, and my knees are smushed up against the glove box door, and my back is quite a bit forward. It's really quite uncomfortable up here. Now, if you're a shorter person and you have, say, a forward-facing child seat behind, then that's not going to be a problem for you. Another note, the front passenger seat gets all of the adjustments that the driver's seat gets, at least at this very high specification. I've readjusted the front seat of the Hornet to be a lot more comfortable for a person of my size. Here in the back seat, good news, we've got room for at least a couple of adult passengers. As far as niceties, there's no moonroof for the second row. There are the usual HVAC outlets and 2 USB ports, one Type A, one Type C.
Not only does the PHEV version of the Hornet cost a lot more than the non-electrified version, when you start adding the options, the price really heads skyward. If you want the sunroof, the really fancy steering wheel, the Alcantara upholstery, the Harman Kardon audio, not to mention Tech Pack, Track Pack, you can get over $60,000 Canadian in a hurry, and we're already starting at over $50,000 in Canada. And that is a long way from the price of the more garden variety Hornet. The Hornet is the first electrified Dodge, and the website has extensive educational material about the PHEV while still pushing the image of straight-line speed. The Hornet is just the beginning, as the redesigned Charger will be available with a fully electric drivetrain.
The Dodge Hornet RT is undeniably beautiful and it's fun to drive. But for me, the value proposition isn't really there. What do you think? Leave a comment. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, and thanks for subscribing. I'm Richard Detman, and I'll see you next time on Family Wheels.